how do you keep the flame alive? Yeah, how do you see? We are carriers of a flame. In the day of Pentecost, tongues of fire came on people, but he put fire on their tongues. That's the bit that happened, and he created a flame. And when you're in a service and the worship's great, and your hands are in the air, and life is good, and there's it's the lychee season, and everything is running smooth in life, then it's quite easy to sort of sense God. The question is, how do you keep the flame alive so that it's not just a flicker, it's a flame? And for many people, it's just a flicker. I feel a high on Sunday night. I feel good, yeah. And then, life, it happens, sort of Wednesday, well, how do you keep the flame going? Okay, here, I won't preach them to you. Here are a few actions you can take. One, self-investing. Quite a lot of people take the view that I shouldn't look after myself. I must always be working for others. Big mistake. Self-investing means read the Bible, meditate, read some Christian book, read about other people that have gone before in the faith, and invest in your faith yourself. I mean, it's really, you need to take time out and sow into your own life. And, that you invest, of course, in and through your character. And you develop that in and through acting with other people so that you are able to help others. That's an investment. And that self-investing means it drives you not into yourself, but out of yourself. Because that's what meditating and hearing God means, that you want to do something. And you're a generation which is amazing because you want to make a change. You do not want to do the same old thing. Now, in the financial markets at the moment, all we want this year is MOTS, M-O-T-S, MOTS. And MOTS means more of the same. We just want more of the same. It was a great year last year. All the markets were doing well, inflation was under control, everybody made money in the stock markets, and the economy was good. So that's what we want this year, MOTS. That is not good enough for you. For the kingdom of God, we want not MOTS, but most. Not more of the same, but the most that I can do with the gifts that I have been given. And when I mentioned this once before to a friend of mine, he said, Ken, you're confusing me, I'm dyslexic with MOTS and most. But it's a very important principle that you do, you give most. You can't give what he can give, but you can give better for what you can be giving, and you can invest and train yourself. If God has given you a sense of being able to pull facts together and to draw things from different sources, to know what belongs together and what should be separated out, then start using it better. Read more, study, be more disciplined, self-investing. Secondly, know the ways of God. It's a daily activity. Why? Because God has chosen to give us days. I don't know why. We could pray once a week, but actually we need it every day. That's a simple reason. Know the ways of God. Secondly, keep humble. It's God. Psalm 25, verse 9 says, He leads the humble in what is right. So you want to know God's path for your life? It's the humble. Now, humble is, the guy's got a realistic view of their own impression. If you come from England, there's a sort of tradition which says, someone will be a scratch golfer, and if you ask them, do you play golf? Well, pick up a stick from now and then, or, pick up a club now and again. It's just a cultural thing, but that's not the kingdom of God. Being humble means, God's given me this gift. I recognize it. I want to use others, and I'm going to develop it. I'm going to invest in it. I'm going to know. I'm going to be humble. And then don't harden your heart. Psalm 95, verse 8 says, don't harden your heart, because when you harden your heart, Lord, why is the guy swimming in the lane next to me doing so much better? He's miles ahead. Well, actually, because he's swimming freestyle and you're doing backstroke. You're doing a different thing. But we still stupidly compare ourselves. It's such an important... And then don't look back in anger. You won't probably find it now, you're too young. In Ecclesiastes, it talks about don't rehearse the past mistakes. As you grow older, the temptation is going to be to rehearse mistakes that you've made. Now, learn from your mistakes, obviously, but don't look back in anger. You know, if only I didn't become a teacher. I could have been, a lychee farmer. I could have been making stacks of money doing something else. Don't do that, because all that does is just makes you screwed up, but you can't rerun the tape. It is what it is. Yeah. Don't give up on worship. Well, you know that. And then confess things that are displeasing to God. Nothing shortens God's ear more than sin. Anything that cuts you off from hearing God's voice is sin. Cuts you off, cuts the relationship off, breaks the relationship. Have an undivided heart, keep serving, and trade fear for joy.